Good morning, class. I'm so grateful for today. I'm so excited to do this next little bit about Holes with You, the book that we have read over the last several weeks as a class. Today we're going to learn how to summarize how a character changes when facing challenges, just like we change as people when we face challenges. So we will be doing and working with this graphic organizer today. It's called the Somebody Wanted But So Then Ink Graphic Organizer. A summary is what we're going to be doing today. A summary is a short retelling of the most important parts of a story. Does not include every detail, just the key ideas, and tell how the character grows or changes. So if I was to do a very short summary about the book Holes by Sachar, Stanley Yelnats is sent to a desert camp for a crime he didn't commit, where boys must dig holes every single day. As he befriends another boy named Zero, Stanley uncovers the truth behind the camp's purpose, breaks his family's bad luck curse, and discovers his own courage and self-worth. I would point to the learning goals for this assignment, which would be to set context, summarizing, and introduce summarizing as a whole before they can, of course, define summarizing. So today, class, we will focus on Stanley Yelnats from Holes and summarize how he changes throughout our book, Holes by Sachar. So I would have this book displayed as well as a blank Somebody Wanted But So Then organizer. I'm going to think aloud as I figure out how Stanley changes. Now, as I'm thinking this, I'm going to be filling out my own graphic organizer. Students will not have their own just yet. I will be filling this out and then they'll get to do one later on. So first I ask myself, who is this story about? Well, it's about Stanley Yelnats, so I'll write Stanley by somebody. But what does Stanley want? He wants to prove he isn't unlucky and belongs somewhere. So under wanted, which is next, I'll write that. But what gets in his way? He gets sent to Camp Green Lake for something he didn't do and has to dig holes in the hot sun all day long every day. That is Stanley's challenge. I want y'all to think of it, keep that in the back of y'all's head for when y'all are doing this part. So, right here. How does he deal with it? Stanley does not give up. No matter how hard it gets, he does not give up. He helps Zero, which is his new friend that he befriended, learns to work hard, and shows courage when certain things arise within our story. Then, which is our last row of our graphic organizer, how does he change? How does Stanley change in this moment? At the end, by the end of the book, he is confident and believes in himself. He's no longer just the unlucky boy. He's a hero who helped his friend, and he even broke his family's curse. I think that's amazing, and I love that he changed so much during the book Holes, and we're able to see that and break that down. So I want to go over why I included or excluded details. I'm not writing every event, just the ones that show his change. So just because I didn't include this event doesn't mean it wasn't an important event. It just doesn't show how Stanley changed throughout the story. If I include too many small details, my summary just won't stay focused on Stanley. It might branch off onto Zero or onto the lizards or the onions or the treasure. We want it to remain on Stanley, not all the other details of the story. So I want you to think and notice how the but, so, and then columns, rows, helps me and us connect events and have a cause and effect relationship on what has happened. So again, like I said, I would fill this out as I'm going over it with students, and I would make sure they understood what each section is and what it means. Students, now it is your turn. I'm going to pass this out to each of you. It will be blank. You are going to turn and talk to your partner. You may spread out around the room. You will have a couple of minutes. You are going to, with your partner, read the passage again where Stanley and Zero are in the desert together. I want you to use your own Somebody Wanted But So Then worksheet to fill in the chart. I want you to ask yourself, what challenges does Stanley face here? How does he respond? How does his actions show change? Other teacher prompts that I may use is what challenges is Stanley facing here, which is kind of what I just said too. How did his response show he's changing? What lesson might he be learning? I will leave mine filled out up here for my students. Students, if you need to come and peek, maybe you're super confused and you really don't want to ask me, as long as you're not copying my answers, I don't mind if you come and have a look at it. If I had done with this with a previous class, I might even show a student example just so I can let students see that mine and theirs don't have to be exactly alike as long as it's on the correct track. So I'll give them a few minutes to do that. Now that we have summarized Stanley's journey, let's think about what this strategy helped us do. What did this strategy help us do? When we summarize, we have to think about our thinking. I know that sounds a little crazy, but when you're thinking, you have to think about your thinking to see if you're on the right track. We monitor whether we really understand the story. That's called metacognition. If we don't understand the story, especially at least be almost fully understand the story, it's going to be very hard to complete this assignment, and I want y'all to understand this story. It's such an amazing story, and I'm so excited to do more projects with this story with you guys. So, summarizing helps us see how characters grow and what lessons they learn, which deepens our comprehension, which is so crazy, and I love that about this book. We see so much how all the different characters grow and what certain characters have done to lead up to certain parts of the book. Now, when we come back to class and tomorrow, or maybe the day after, you'll use the same strategy, but on a different character from Holes, or maybe even another story. We'll take a vote. If we do Holes, I'm going to let you choose your own character. So if you want to do Zero, you can do Zero. If you want to do the lady over the camp, you can do the lady over the camp. You can choose any character you want, especially if we do Holes when we come back. Thank you so much. I think y'all did an amazing job on this today, and I cannot wait to read all of your responses.